Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, July 14th, 2021, and I am Solid Blue Sister, and welcome to My Turn to Talk. Well, today I am going to be talking about Black women and specifically, well, maybe not. I am going to be talking about Black women, but I'm also going to be talking about Black mothers. So, about 2 weeks ago, one of the consistent contributors of my show, Shy Lady, sent a YouTube video to me with the heading, "Why Black Motherhood is Dead." And I watched it, and when people send me things, I for the most part, I always watch them. And from Shy Lady, I always watch what she sends me. And, again, I come back to Black women. So I am going to talk about Black mothers, but I'm also going to talk about Black women. And Black women, just whether it be from white people, Latinos, Asians. Yes, I'm talking about, I'm adding everyone in here. Other Black people, Black men, other Black women, we just can't seem to get a break. Okay, we're already stereotyped as somebody's baby mama. We're already stereotyped as being militant and angry. We're stereotyped as, but at the same time, we're stereotyped as, being strong. You're the strong Black woman. The medical community, some people in the medical community have stereotyped us as, not feeling pain. So, when Black women go to the doctor and they say that they have a pain here or a pain there, then it's usually discounted. And it's usually discounted by white doctors. Oh, Black women, they can take more pain. They don't need these painkillers or whatever. They don't need this. There's nothing wrong with them. But once again, Black women have always been, for the most part, the person who took care of the family. So your husband may have gone to work every day and brought home a paycheck, but it was the Black woman who, whether she stayed home because she wasn't working, she was just a housewife or, a mother, or she went to work and she still came home and was that wife, mother, housekeeper, the person everyone, comes to. I mean, my husband and I, we only had one child. And to this day, when my son wants something, he says, Mom. And I'm always like, is there not somebody else in this house? On one hand, you feel good that they're calling you, but on the other hand, it's like, but I just want to talk about how Black women just always seem to get the negative end of the spectrum. And the disrespect. There are a lot of women, especially in history, who have put up with a lot of Black women, who have put up with so much crap. And I know that you're going to have other races who says, well, we go home and we take care of our families, and we take care of our husbands, and or we're single parents, we're doing this, we're doing that. Yeah, you are, and I commend you for doing that. But in terms of Black women compared to white women, Latinos, Asian women, Black women tend to carry the burden a lot more, and not just at home. Like I said, we have been stereotyped so much. I mean, even the things that I have heard people, comment and say to me, it's like, where are you getting that from? I mean, I have had white men hit on me, and their wives are standing like 5 feet away. Is that supposed to be a compliment to me? I mean, what? Then you have the fact that Black women are sexualized in a way that other ethnic, I'm not gonna say other ethnic women aren't, but other races aren't. You have Black women who are sexualized, and like Mick Jagger said, in his song, Black women just like to fuck. Okay, and then we're skanks and we're hoes, and what have you. But this particular video that I was listening to, that Shy Lady sent me, coming from a doctor and coming from a Black man, it was offensive. He was out in Florida. I'm not even going to play the video because I don't want to give it more oxygen than I think it should have. So if you want to look it up, you can go look it up. I already said the name of it, whatever. But this particular person, this doctor, this Black doctor, was in Florida, and he had his camera out. Most people, they're pulling out their cameras, and he's videotaping this mother, and there was no sound, so you don't know exactly what the mother was saying to, we assume, is her son. She's standing out on a balcony. Apparently this particular place where she was staying was supposed to be really nice, upscale. And her son appeared to come out onto the balcony with his phone, and he handed her the phone. She did something to the phone. He handed it back. She handed it back to him. He went back into the room. She's still standing out on the balcony. The little boy comes out again with his phone. Gives it to, we assume, the mother. She does something with it, whatever. Again, you cannot hear any sound. You don't know what is going on. She gives it back to him. She doesn't appear to be yelling at him. She doesn't appear to be, fussing at him, whatever. He takes his phone and he goes back. She goes back and she's standing out on the balcony. He does it a third time. She, for all we know, this little boy could have been answering the phone for his mother, his sister, his aunt, whatever. We don't know. All right. So this doctor immediately says that, the mother, is not paying attention to her son, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then he just starts just kind of dogging her. Okay. So then he has his phone and he goes down to the beach area. And there are these Black women who are in these bikinis, different shapes and sizes, me personally, I would not be in a bikini. Never, ever wanted to be in one, no matter how old I was. But you know, they were showing their styles, whatever, different hairstyles, whatever, because you know, Black women, we can wear our hair, you know, different ways, whatever. And again, he starts, you know, like attacking them, calling them hoes and whatever. And then there's white people walking by and they're looking at these Black women, you know, whatever. And, you know, I'm just kind of just, you know, I'm not understanding why he is dissing these women. Then he starts talking about classes of people, and where he says that, you know, he starts giving how tiers of people where, you know, white women will always be up here, you know, white men will always be here, you know, but Black men will be here and Black women are down here. And at some point, it just kind of got hard for me to follow. And I know you guys are probably trying to figure out what the hell I'm talking about right now. But again, it's like, I guess my whole thing is that we as a race, as a Black race, and we as a gender, as Black women, we just always just seem to get just from everybody, either from what we're wearing, from, you know, how we're behaving on a balcony. You know, we just always seem to get the disrespect. And I see that Shy Lady is on, and I'm going to ask you, because you originally sent me the video, and I just want to know, what did you take from that? Because for him to be a doctor, and he was just really going at it, and I was like, what is wrong with this man?
He's a very controversial figure. I've done some research on him, and basically what I've read, he's pretty much a fraud. He can't back up any of the things that he say he's about. So he looks like to me to be an opportunist, unfortunately, at Black people's expense.
Okay, now I see Miss Deborah is on, and did I send you? I'm looking down to see if I sent you the YouTube video, but
nope.
You know, I'm going to send it to you right now. There we go. All right, so Shy Lady, when you say that he can't back up what he says, can you just give me an idea of what other videos or what other topics that he talks about? Because he just like totally just appeared to me just totally slam Black women. I don't know if it's because of the women that he saw when he was, you know, on the beach that day, and the way they were dressed, you know, compared to white women who were passing by, you know, I mean.
Well, I'm just talking about his whole background. He claims to be a descendant of Frederick Douglass, but Frederick Douglass's family stated that he needs to stop going around saying that. They have proof that he's not a direct descendant. He also has said that he's raising money for some school for Black boys, but the money is not accounted for. Also, he's supposed to have submitted paperwork for a 501c3 rather, and he has not. He's been, when asked to produce those documents to show, he has not been able to prove that. He also hasn't been able to prove that he has a doctorate degree. So, just on that information alone, that I found, because he had a there was an article with someone from the Roots who questioned all of this, and he couldn't provide any answers.
Okay, so then my question is, you know, instead of calling yourself a doctor and, you know, having a YouTube show or a podcast or whatever, why don't you just go on the show and just be whomever you are and just talk a lot of smack? You know, I mean, but
you know, I was gonna say, people want to appear more than what they are to justify that they have a right to.
Are you guys there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, now I can hear you.
I'm saying that I believe that he's just one of those people who feel that if he has these titles behind his name.
Hold on, it could be my internet.
I can hear you.
Okay, I think, no, I just got a notice that it came up. I've never had this before. It said your internet is unstable, but I'm looking at it and it seems to be okay. All right, Shy Lady, the last thing I heard was that he seems to be one of those people who.
If you have a title behind your name, it's particularly a PhD or something, people will believe you, and a lot of people do believe him. And from what I understand, he has accepted in cash and other donations over $750,000, and they've been asked, where is it? Why haven't you built this school? And he can't give an answer for it.
Well, you know what was interesting is when I was reading that article, I always read comments. I always read the comments that that people what people are saying, and it seemed like a lot of the comments came from men, but it seemed like they were like really on his side, that they were really supporting him.
It's funny though. A lot of comments I read, I agree with you. It appears a lot of Black men are supporting his views for whatever reason.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Deborah to jump in on this, because now I have a question of, we've always had this conflict, among Black people where, Black women may say that they can't find a, good Black man, and, Black men are saying, this is one thing that this doctor was saying in his video, that, you have Black women who are, always chasing the dollar, that if a Black man doesn't have any money, then we don't want him, whatever. So what do you think about that? I mean, what do you think about the controversy that we just have within our own culture when it comes to like dating and finding, a spouse?
Okay, my definition of love is basic. It's how much shit you're willing to take from somebody. That's what love is.
Okay. Deborah, you are totally true
I'm
to
gonna put that on
form.
a t-shirt.
You are true to form. But I mean, but we do have a problem, where you have, Black men who think that Black women, especially if they're intelligent Black women, that they're always, searching for the mighty dollar. Or you have
You
Black
got them
women.
whorish ass men out there doing the same thing. It only sounds bad because it's a woman. But I said, a woman can fuck like a man, just be discreet. And that's what it is. I heard a lot of men, I forget which, about Bill Cosby. They were supporting Bill Cosby. Oh no, he got hung up. They just, they did him wrong. But what about his victims? Well, and I even heard women trying to justify it. Well, that's what you get when you're in a room with a man at night. That's Hollywood. That's totally different.
But you know what though, it's interesting that you bring up Bill Cosby, because I have a friend, a Black friend, and we were talking about Bill Cosby the other day, and I had to get ready for the show, so I couldn't talk to her long. But when it comes to Bill Cosby, we have always been on opposite sides. She is very much the opinion of what you just said. She's a church going person, whatever. Yes, Bill Cosby was wrong, but she never should have. And I have a problem with that, because it's like, excuse me, first of all, the man admitted that he drugged people. Okay, so whether or not, so you're telling me that if someone who has the prominence of Bill Cosby, and he is saying, whatever, come by my suite or my dressing room or whatever, and we can run some lines, or I can talk to you about this particular part, whatever, you want to hope that someone who is a prominent person like that is on the up and up, and they're not going to attack you and give you some a pill or a molly or whatever, and drug you and rape you, so and my girlfriend, it's like, we've always, whenever Bill Cosby came up, it was like, it's one of those things where I just had to say, you know what, I can't talk about this with you anymore, because Bill Cosby is a rapist.
And he admitted it.
Exactly. And I don't care if that woman walked in there with the shortest shorts, the tightest, top, whatever. The bottom line was, if she did not give her consent, then, so as opposed to what someone who went in there with a long, church choir robe or whatever, then they're fine. So, I mean, I don't know.
He got out on a technicality, because he went in, he spilled everything he knew, because they said, if you want to up and up and you tell us everything you did and everything you knew, which he did, which was raping these women and all of this stuff, they said, we won't prosecute you. See, he wasn't exonerated. He got out on a technicality.
Well, you have a lot of people who are backing him up, and the problem that I have with that is Harvey Weinstein, who was sentenced to 22 years in New York for what he was doing back here in California and Hollywood. And why anybody would want to be with him is beyond me. But anyway, so is he going to be looking for that technicality? I mean, I don't know. Shy Lady, do you have an opinion?
Yes, I do. Bill Cosby, like you said, admitted to drugging these women. And some women probably actually did naively go to his house. Like you say, you thinking that here's a prominent person in the industry, and you think they're on the up and up, and he's married. You think that they would say, but like I said, some people are naive. They were trusting this person. Some people may have actually consented to have sex with him. Some might have not even known what they were going to be put up against. But the fact that he admitted to drugging them, and he's a married man. I mean, really, come on now. How much intelligence do you need?
Okay, but look at the well, not only was he married, back in the 70s, I mean, Bill Cosby has always had a reputation of cheating on his wife. And back in the 70s, his wife told him, either you stay with me and stop doing whatever you're doing, or I'm leaving you.
He did.
And, but the money was there, and
who do you think was writing those checks? Camille was writing those checks to keep those girls quiet.
That's what it's like who has the money, whatever. And again, what goes on in people's marriages, whatever. If you want to stay with someone, because they're cheating, you have Vanessa Bryant who stayed with Kobe, after his whole cheating scandal.
That bitch got a ring. That bitch got a house on her finger. Shit, that's better than what Snoop Dogg wife got. She just got a Land Rover or some shit. Old girl got a house on her finger.
leave it to Deborah. So, but I mean, it's like, what people do in their marriages, and how they decide to settle it. If you want to give out jewelry, houses, rings, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. That is how you all decide to settle it. It's just like
because you can cash that shit in. You can cash that shit in.
But it doesn't. But again, what I'm saying is that's with them. That is within their own marriage. I don't care. With Bill and Hillary, after Monica Lewinsky, you had a lot of white women who were still pissed off at her because she went back to Bill, to Bill Clinton. That's within their own marriage. However you want, whether you cash it in, whatever, that's not my business. What
That was a
bothers me
business arrangement. That was a business arrangement.
But regardless, that's their marriage. I don't care. What bothers me is the fact that Camille Cosby, I don't know if she knew what her husband was doing. I don't know. But the fact that he admitted it, and they are letting a known admitted rapist out of jail, that's the problem that I have.
Look, he already had that love child. Camille was writing checks, okay?
But again, I'm not talking about what they're doing in their marriage. I'm talking about that you are letting a known criminal who admitted to raping women out of prison. I don't care if you're cheating on your husband or you're cheating on your wife and you're paying them whatever, that's between you all. I don't care. I'm talking about the fact that this person is walking around probably with a smug look on his face that he's out of prison, and like you said, he got out on a technicality. You were not cleared of any crime. You got out on a technicality. So picking up from that, hold on one second. Charlady, I want to go back to this doctor person. How long has he been on the air?
I'm not sure how long he's been on the air, but I know it's been a while because he's in numerous threads. He's been at it for a while. He's built himself quite a little reputation and a following as well.
So when you say a while, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years?
At least 2 years, at least. And I know at least 2 years. And a lot of black men, from what I've heard, think what he says is the gospel.
And these are probably some of the same black men who are supporting Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. They're the same ones who I'm reading about in the comment sections. Like you say, I read a lot of the comment sections, so of different sites, articles, and they are supporting him. They are the same ones who are supporting Bill Cosby.
I don't know. Cheating on your spouse and your, again, whether they're getting paid, cashing checks, whatever, that's between you all. I don't care. I'm not writing checks. I'm not getting any of the money. I don't care. But what does bother me is if, let's say Camille did know what her husband was doing. That's where, again, I have a problem. So that's when I say, take the money out, take the checks out, take the rings and all the houses out of it. If you knew that your spouse was, John Wayne Gacy, who is raping young boys and burying them up under the house, but you're not saying anything, there's a problem. And I'm not saying that you're not saying anything because you are personally being threatened, that your life is personally being threatened, that, that you have bruises all over your body because he's beating, your butt every day. But I'm saying that you know that this person is doing what they're doing. And you just, turn your back. And the fact that, Camille Cosby, again, if she did know, not saying that she did because we don't know, that you have 4 daughters, and how would you like it if?
And one out of wedlock, one that love child.
But either way, the girl is out of wedlock or whatever. It's just the fact that how would you like it if someone did this to one of your daughters, or you hear about these men that are molesting boys? How would you like it if this happened to your son? So whether they're out of wedlock or not, it's like, would you want this to happen to your child? while your husband or your wife or whomever is
What I'm talking about is
doing that.
that proof that she wrote a check.
But again, it's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. My problem is the fact that this man is out of prison, walking around. You know, and before they were trying to get him out of prison, you know, first it was because, well, you know, Bill Cosby, he is going blind. Well, okay, they're blind people who are in prison. You know, oh well, now there's COVID. Well, you know, there are a lot of people who are still in prison because of COVID. You know, what makes him so special? That's my problem. That you have an admitted rapist who is out about walking around. So again, I understand what you're saying about the checks or whatever. People are doing that. You know, you got Bill Gates probably writing Melinda Gates, you know, checks now, whatever. I don't care. I'm not getting any of that money. That doesn't bother me. You know, but you find out that Bill Gates is, you know, another, you know, Bill Cosby, that he's, you know, has issues with people who work for them. So I don't care about the money. I care about what the person's doing.
Messing around with little girls.
You know, so and I bet that if it was you know, Joe Blow, who was black, who didn't have any money and didn't have the prominence and have the ability to spend millions of dollars on attorneys, whatever, they wouldn't have let him out on that technicality. The technicality wouldn't even have brought up, he would have stayed in jail.
But he knew what he was promised and he had money.
So, you know, so.
I tell you this much. If Camille Cosby didn't know during those times, she definitely knows now because he admitted it.
So, okay, so let me ask you this. You're Camille Cosby. What's going through your mind right now in your husband's home?
I think I saw,
or do you even care?
I don't think she cares. I think she wasn't she there when he was released, smiling, holding onto his arm?
She was.
So there you have it. She knew about it. He said it right there during his trial. Yes, I did drug them. It was consensual.
How do you, okay.
I mean, I'm like, me personally, I know there's a thing about forgive and stuff, but that's something that as me as a woman, I would say, okay, you've admitted it, but I forgive you, but I'm done with you. Goodbye. That's me. To me, that is low down.
And it's
drugging,
like,
drugging a woman to have sex,
bad.
And you're married.
Well, not only that,
to me, that's one of the lowest of the lows.
But how do you drug someone and you're both like saying, oh, okay, it's okay for you to drug me out, and I'm just so ill that I can't move or whatever. You can do whatever the hell you want with. I mean,
like I said, it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me. That's for sure.
Them Quaaludes are hell.
I would be like,
them gorilla cookies put you out. I mean, because that's what he was giving them, Quaaludes. And I can testify, you better be with people you can trust when you take that shit, because you just get fucked up. But what he did was he dosed them and they drank.
You know what? There's just so many things wrong with this whole Bill Cosby thing. And I think that aside from him being out, aside from, you know, Camille, you know, knowing about it and hanging on his arm, the other part is the flip side, that you do have people, mainly Black men and some women, who support him. I think that he got a raw deal. And now I want to come to R. Kelly. You know, I mean, R. Kelly to me is like one of the biggest travesties, you know, was walking around, because I know now finally he's in prison, you know, but he had the Chicago Police Department. He had his assistants. He had so many people that he was paying that was on his payroll that were looking the other way while he was molesting young girls. And then you have these young girls who, I mean, I know, you know, after a while, they're like, their mind starts to get messed up, and, you know, they're co-signing for him too, but there's a problem. I mean, because what R. Kelly did, it wasn't just, I mean, you know, like Bill Cosby, he didn't, you know, he's done it for years. Years, you're talking 20 years. And what is wrong with a man who has to, you know, a grown ass man who has to look at a young girl, 14, 13, in order to get satisfaction. And then when they get too old, when they get 18, you know, they're tossing them to the side. But R. Kelly, I mean, and then when that show came out, when that documentary came out, once again, you had a lot of men who were taking his side. And they're saying things, well, maybe that girl shouldn't have. She's 12, she's 13, she's 14. What do they know? Now, me at the age of 14, I would have known better not to, not to do that. But
did you see the video?
Yes. You know, but at the same time, it's like you're taking advantage of these young girls.
You could tell she was young. You could tell.
I mean, that's all. That is all. You know, R. Kelly liked. You know, and you know, I mean, I don't know. I have a problem with the people who are co-signing. That's the problem I have. I'm sorry, Charlene. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I have a problem with these slave masters, particularly Thomas Jefferson, who took advantage of a young 14-year-old Sally Hemings.
Yes, he did.
That is disgusting, and had all those children. It's that, you know, we talking about what's going on with Bill Cosby and R. Kelly, but what about this founding father?
No, you know what?
Who's on is he on one of the bills? Or is I'm thinking of Andrew Jackson? I'm thinking of Andrew Jackson. He's not. I'm thinking of Jackson on one of the he's on the 20, but he could have had some too.
Well, Andrew Jackson was a known. I mean, he was a known racist. I mean, all these founding fathers, you know, they all had slaves. You know,
talk about the ultimate rape.
True. I mean, no, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right, because you know, again, you know, I just, you know, go back to what you said about Sally Hemings, and you knew that the women, the wives, you know, of the house knew what their husbands were doing, because all of a sudden all these little, you know, half and half
mulattoes
is, you know,
let me add insult to injury. Let me add insult to injury about Thomas Jefferson. And when he died, he never gave her freedom.
That's
he
right.
gave his kids their freedom.
That's right. But he never
stayed
gave
a
her.
Slave.
Yep.
You
know, right. That is absolutely correct. You know, so it's like, you know, just like that Louisiana's state person said a couple of weeks ago, said, well, if we teach critical race theory, if we talk about slaves, then we should talk about the good part. And someone said, well, what's the good part of slavery? I mean, what? You know, and
what, that the most of us survived? Is that the good part?
You know, but look at how many were lost just on the Middle Passage, and we're talking about rape and what have you. how many women were raped during the Middle Passage, because you had a lot of women who arrived in America with a big belly. You had a lot of women who arrived in America pregnant. A lot of Black women, a lot of African women who arrived in America as slaves with chains on.
That
pregnant.
would be my people. That would be one of my ancestors. I have so much European into me, and I'm cracking.
But I mean, seriously. I mean, my 3 times grandfather was white. He was a slave owner. He raped my 3 times grandmother.
That's nasty.
I mean, seriously.
Was he white or Black? He was white.
He was white. So and
Black slave owners.
I mean, but these slave owners, and again, I'm coming back down to women. Black women have always taken the brunt of everything. And another way that slave owners used to, control Black women was the threat of selling their children. If you don't do this or whatever, I'm selling off, whomever, and I'm gonna sell them off into another state, and you're never gonna see them. Hell, even if they, sold them to another county or to the next plantation over, you probably wouldn't see them because the plantations were so far apart, whatever. But Black women have always, and again, when I started the show, that's what I was talking about, how we have just always carried the brunt of all of the shit that has been happening.
We are the lowest. I know some people say it might not be it's a racist thing, but I can't think of anything other than the totem pole. We are the lowest on that. We're at the bottom. Black men make more than us. It's been said as a whole, they make more than us, and so they're a step above us. But above them, you have your other races, your other ethnicities. But we are the ones who suffer the most. It is us. Yes, a lot of us are now college graduates, and we probably outnumber Black men in terms of our education. Those of us who are getting degrees, and some of us who are getting higher advanced degrees. But still, with those Black men who are on the level of getting advanced degrees or bachelor's degrees, where they're still making more than Black women. They still are.
So let me ask you, do you think that if Black women or Black people, I'll say Black people, were never slaves, that we would be treated the way we are?
I still think that we would be treated the way we are. I still think so, because that darker hue, that skin tone,
Mm-hmm.
it's the fact that we look the way we look. We're so polar opposite of whites, and even other some ethnicities. They in their countries, white porcelain skin is better than darker skin. That's in a lot of societies.
It is. No, you're absolutely right. Because even with Indians, you have that caste system, and Indians do look at they look at darker skin Indians from India, as being less thin,
And it's the same in Asian societies. A lot of Asians, if your skin is darker, you're looked upon as having a lower income. A lot of them wear hats and clothing, long sleeve clothing in the summer, because they don't want their skin to get darker, because you're considered a peasant with darker skin. So it's like that. It's like that in
and the Latino community as well. So I definitely believe we would still be treated like this because we are the darkest.
But okay,
Yes,
but
I
where,
still
okay,
believe we
but where
would
do you
be.
think that came from? I mean, where do you think that started? That, you know, white is so pure and so good. Where do you think that came from?
It started when they came over and took all the land from everybody. The people who couldn't defend their land and they colonized it. It started then.
So you don't
It
think
started.
that it started even before that, like before
Mm-hmm.
Christopher
Yep.
Columbus and maybe
Yep.
with the Spaniards and what have you? You know, so I don't know. You know, it just amazes me the way other ethnic groups, especially women, will make comments about how, oh, we have it so bad. No, you don't. Even if you're poor, even if you're a dirt poor white person, white woman, you still would not have it as poor as a dirt poor black person. And as we know, especially in the South, when racism was really rampant, I can come in, being Oprah Winfrey in, 1930 Alabama with all this money, and you could be a poor, white woman or white person, especially a white woman, living in some shack, and Oprah would still be called a nigger.
Absolutely.
And the way, and I do want to, do a show with what you just said about slave owners and what have you, because that whole topic just, there's just so many slave owners. Thomas Jefferson just happens to get most of the press because of Sally Hemings, whatever, but there are a lot of slave owners out there who have, families. I mean, like babies, with the same person, whatever. And they're not recognized. And even for Thomas Jefferson's family, his white family, to want to deny the Heming side of the family for so long. I don't know if it was for money, you were embarrassed, whatever it was. But I'm sorry, but Thomas Jefferson, your grandfather, your uncle, your cousin, whatever, raped Sally Hemings and had a hell of a lot of children with her. And Deborah was right. When Thomas Jefferson died, he freed her children, but did not free her. Why not? Why keep her a slave? What's the purpose?
Yeah, it disgusts me to think this man, 60 some years old, raping a 14-year-old girl. It's so gross and disgusting.
It is.
Against her will. Just a poor little girl, poor little slave girl. Mm-hmm. So sad, so very sad. And it happens so many times. And I'm sure, like you say, we have all these Jacksons and Washingtons that are Black, and those are the names of founding fathers. So those names have come from somewhere. We're Black and we have names like that. So that goes to show you, like you say, they're just not talked about like Thomas Jefferson is, but they had them too, obviously.
It's you just look back at your family tree, and you see the white people that pop up. You see, Native Americans that pop up. So when I look at, someone like Ben Affleck, who got upset when he did that show, who do you think we are, or who do you think I am, or whatever it is, and he wanted to cut out the part where they found out that his family owned slaves. Why are you, I look at white people, I'm like, number one, why are you embarrassed why are you surprised somebody's people own slaves? It just happened to be yours. You know, I could have been one of the slaves. You know, my family could have been, could have been one of the slaves. You know, but once again, critical race theory pops up and it's like, why do you not want to have this taught in schools? And Charlene, another thing that I'm thinking about just popped in my head, that when you have teachers who give assignments, when you're saying, we're going to do a family tree, and we're going to trace back, how far, our family goes, whatever. You have a lot of white kids who could probably, go home and talk to their parents and pull out the photo album and say that, my, grandmother was this person, my great grandmother, and, whatever, and they can go back really far. We can't do that. We can't do that. Not unless we do a whole lot of digging. But for the most part, Black families, we can't just, say, we could probably go back as far as maybe our great grandmother, but then slavery pops up, and you don't know who your great grandmother was. You don't know who your uncle was. You don't know who your cousin was. But I do have this question. Let's say my son gets an assignment in school like that, and he goes back to school and he says, okay, this is my family tree, and this was my uncle, and he was lynched. Are the white parents in that classroom going to get pissed off because my son went to school and said that, my Uncle Joe was lynched by a white mob? It's part of history. It's part of his history. There's just so many, there's just so many things wrong. There are just so many things that are just effed up and just wrong, with this country, with various ethnic groups, we all have issues, whatever. But when it comes to Black women, good Lord. And Charlene, I'm going to let you have the last word.
Well, as a Black woman, I'm going to say that I thank God, because we are a powerful strength of a women. We've gone through so much and we have survived. We have come a long, long way, and we still got a long way to go. As a mother of a Black woman, I instill in her empowerment and encouragement. And I want other Black women who got daughters or who have friends or nieces or whatever, to continue to empower our young women, not to settle, not to live below our standards, because we have to understand that we come from a strong legacy, and a lot of us are not living up to the potential that we definitely could be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make better choices, better choices in our careers, better choices in our men, so that we can start to stop the cycle of creating homes without a mom and a dad. Because that's where a lot of our problems exist. And let's we got to instill in that. Let's make better choices. Yeah, sometimes things don't work out. We get divorced. But when you see the red flags of a man who does not have a job, a man who has multiple babies, he's not taking care of, why are we getting involved with them? Why?
But okay, but on the same hand, you can also look at white men who may not have a job, may have multiple, babies, whatever. And, you can look at some white men who are, business suit, you look at somebody, like a Bill Gates or some of these other people, a Jeffrey Epstein or, Harvey Weinstein, whatever. And it's
Mhm.
like, they are still dogs,
Yes.
and, make better choices, that way too. So,
Oh, definitely. I only say that because we have the highest rate of single parenthood as Black women.
oh,
We're the lowest to get married.
yes,
That's the only reason why I brought that up, because out of all the people that are married, we're always at the bottom,
right,
just like with our salaries. And so I say to that, I'm only saying that because we can change that. We can change that. We can make better choices. We can make better choices for our futures, our careers, better choices who we want to be our spouses and the father of our children. We can do better. But like I said, sometimes things don't always work out. People get divorced for whatever reasons. But before we get to that level, let's vet that man before we get involved. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Let's not be the ones on the bottom that are the least to be chosen to get married. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. No,
We have to do better.
you make
I commend our progress and our success where we come from, but we gotta make better choices.
well, knowing your daughter, she is going to make an excellent choice.
Let's hope so.
So I'm pretty sure she is going to make an excellent choice. And I strongly believe that your daughter will be someone that will be in the history books. I think that her name will be known.
Amen. I received that, my
So,
friend.
so yes, so that I do think, but anyway, it is that's all I got, whatever. And again, Shy Lady, thank you so much for contributing. I always appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And I am Solid Blue Sister. This is my turn to talk, speak your truth, and I will see you next time. Bye.